Semalam, pindaan kepada Akta Kesalahan Pilihan Raya 1954 telah diluluskan oleh Parlimen dengan kepantasan yang cukup menakjubkan. Ia mengandungi pindaan-pindaan yang akan memberikan kesan yang amat besar kepada ketelusan proses pilihan raya semasa hari mengundi nanti. Ini membuktikan bahawa Bersih 3 adalah penting dan amat diperlukan. Ini menunjukkan bahawa kami adalah benar dalam mengatakan bahawa pilihan raya yang akan datang akan menjadi pilihan raya yang paling kotor dalam sejarah negara kita Malaysia. Saudara-saudari, I would like to now touch on some of the amendments that were made to the Election Offences Act yesterday in Parliament. I've handed out a press release and I would like to follow through that press release with you because there's some very important points that have been made there. Yesterday, the 19th of April 2012, many bills were rushed through Parliament. I think the press knows that. Yeah? One of them that appears to have escaped the attention of the public was a bill that sought to amend the Election Offences Act 1954. The amendments are, to say the least, shocking and have far-reaching consequences upon the voting process. They are, in our view, designed solely for the purpose of making the voting process less transparent. Needless to say, this bill was passed. Now, there is a section 11C, which has been deleted in full. We are getting the sections for you. We're getting it printed out. But for your information, 11C required print materials to have the full name, iaitu poster dan sebagainya, ya, to have the full name of the printer and publisher in full. Sekarang, section itu telah pun has been deleted. That whole section has been deleted. Maknanya, anyone can put up anonymous, defamatory, racist or sexist posters without identifying the publisher. You can just put it up anywhere, no need to say who it's from, no need to say who the publisher is. Of course, one of Bersih's demands is to end dirty politics. This will go against that. This actually encourages dirty politics. Ia menggalakkan politik kotor. Secondly, election monitoring is at EC's discretion. This is very important. Yeah? Section 14(1)(a) is now replaced with a clause which allows the Election Commission to appoint time slots to determine when polling agents or counting agents of a candidate may be present. So the time when an agent of a candidate is allowed into the polling station is no longer fixed by the candidate. I should add the words by the candidate, but is now left to the discretion of the EC to decide. So everything is now in the EC's discretion. So what happens is that polling and counting agents are usually appointed by the candidate, and this ensures a more transparent process. Now, with this amendment, the time scheduling is left to the EC. So they decide when the polling agent and counting agents can come in and when they can leave. And you can see that this can be open to abuse. They can actually tell agents to leave the polling station or the where the counting takes place. Third, curbing candidates and their staff from checking on identity of voters. Now this and the next paragraph are the key differences between and have the greatest impact on the elections. Section 26(1)(e) allowed for checking of the identity of any person entering a polling station. It allows for their identity to be checked. That has been deleted in full. All of that has now been deleted. All right? No, the sentence says, yeah, but the effect is that it does not allow for checking of the identity of a person. That's basically it. That is no longer allowed. And they did it by just removing a sentence which is under 26(1)(e). By removing that one sentence, they have now disallowed in full the checking of the identity of the person, of a person going into a polling station. Now the problem with this, this also means that candidates and its election staff are not allowed to check the identity or to help voters who are going in to identify if they are at the correct polling station. That cannot be done anymore, all right? It also means phantom voters or multiple voters cannot be detected. The 50-meter exclusion zone outside the polling center is now extended to 100 meters. So only beyond 100 meters can you have people standing, which means it is impossible for monitors, election monitors, to actually see what is happening and to see and to detect whether anything illegal is going on. The effect, further effect of this is, what is the point of indelible ink? Who can check? Who can see whether a person who is marked with indelible ink has gone into the polling station to vote a second time? So it minimizes the effect of the, on the one hand they introduce indelible ink, on the other hand they take steps which minimizes its effect. Now, the election agent number 4, or candidate disallowed at election booths, the barongs. Now this is very substantial. It's section 26A, and it deletes completely the election agent of a candidate and any observers, booth observers. It completely deletes that provision. So nobody is allowed to be a booth observer. So not allowed in the barong. Another reason why it will be impossible to check who is coming in and going out of the polling stations. And of course, it's open to abuse, because previously the barong observers were the only non-EC people who were able to look at the IC of the voter and pick up discrepancies. So this, disallowing this, is a major blow to the plans to weed out phantom voters. They can now, people can now walk in, phantom voters can walk in freely, and the polling agent, even if they're allowed in the polling station, will have no opportunity to look at the IC of the voter. Again, what is the use of the indelible ink then? These amendments, which have been introduced so late and bulldozed through Parliament yesterday, makes a mockery of our electoral process. More importantly, it makes a mockery of the Parliamentary Select Committee. It seems these amendments were hidden from the Parliamentary Select Committee. And we want to ask the PSC, did they know about this? If they didn't know about it, what do they have to say about this now? Today, Bersih 2 reiterates its call for the election commissioners to resign immediately because it has failed to uphold the Rakyat's demand for clean, fair and democratic electoral system. In fact, it is unashamedly doing the opposite. If anyone had any doubt that Bersih 3 is necessary, that doubt is now dispelled with this latest move. These amendments confirm our worst fears that the 13 general elections will be the dirtiest yet. The audacity with which these amendments are proposed and the speed with which they were passed reflects the utter contempt being shown for the Rakyat's call for clean and fair elections. The EC must resign for allowing such amendments to be proposed, and for the various other reasons that we have said. We urge members of the public to read the amendments for yourself. I ask you to read it. See what is deleted. Then you will understand what has been happening with this legislation, or what has happened to this legislation. We urge members of the public, read these amendments, decide for yourselves, and then fax the Election Commission, we have given the number there, to express their views and if seen fit to call for their resignation. We think the members of the public should call for the resignation of the Election Commission. Now I want to add this. If you look at the mainstream media this morning, did any of you read anything about these amendments? Did you see it? Did any of the reporters pick this up? And to your, I mean, it's not your fault. Even you didn't pick it up because no one realized this was going through Parliament. Now do you realize what went through Parliament yesterday? Now do you realize what we are being deprived of? And now do you realize why we cannot believe what the EC says? Because on the one hand, by the way, and they reported it in full, the EC chairman in the Star this morning saying, oh, we will continuously clean the roll and we will, we will do this, we'll extend the campaign period. Why didn't anyone talk about this? Even the report on the parliamentary debate in the Star this morning doesn't mention the far-reaching effect of these amendments. Now, please, I urge the press, you must publicize this. The public must know what is going to happen in the 13th general elections. And don't forget, it was rushed through with many other bills yesterday, with very little discussion. 7 bills. 8, I thought, yeah. 8 bills. And you can see why. You can see why. Now we have with us Mr. P.Y. Wong from Tindak Malaysia, who has been painstakingly training people to be observers in the barong and so on. Complete waste of their time, by the way. Complete waste of their time. Because they're not going to be allowed to sit in there.